Hi there. So, since we have Audrey with us, I thought it would be fun to ask her a few questions that I've been thinking about and wanted to get her expert opinion on. So, this is just kind of off the cuff, some after the Rosary questions that Audrey was willing to stick around and answer for us. So, she hasn't seen these or anything. So, here we go.
Okay.
So, Audrey, why did you decide to get into your profession as a special education professional?
Oh, that's a great question. I had an awesome experience as a high school student at St. James Academy as a peer mentor. And so, what that looked like is they partnered me with a student with disability, and I went to class with them. And I served pretty much as a paraprofessional for that child. And like as God does, I was in a religion class. So that experience like really springboarded me into really getting into special education because I just saw like, oh wait, I'm kind of good at this, and I really found a lot of just a lot of my own calm and my own like purpose through that experience. And then when I went to college to become a special educator, I did not think I was going to be in Catholic schools at all. Um, it really wasn't ever anything that was like on the table. But of course, God does his work. And I was called to go back and work at the high school level for many years. And then, now currently at St. Elizabeth's, working as the director of inclusive education. And just every single day, I wake up like knowing like this is what I'm called to do. And I don't know if everyone gets to say that. So I feel really blessed
That's awesome.
for that. So,
That's awesome. And it's so cool that that experience in high school for you, even just showing that like how that can influence just somebody's career to just having inclusion, how that impacts
yeah,
so many people. That's
totally.
awesome.
Totally.
How does your faith inform or influence or impact kind of the work that you do?
Yeah. Um, I think, I mean, I truly can't imagine, like I said before, I was not ever planning on being a special educator, or as we call it in the Catholic school setting, an inclusion coordinator or director of inclusive education. I never thought that Catholic school was even, it wasn't on my radar. um, I did see it happening in my Catholic high school, but not at the level that I was the sense of belonging and the purpose was different then. So I my faith directly impacts my ability to work with students because I cannot imagine not being able to share my faith life with my students on a regular basis. Um, just because I haven't been in a setting where I haven't been able to do that yet. So it really is so important for me. And then also um, as in my position, I work with a lot of other educators, and together we make the program run. And so with paraprofessionals and reading specialists, and when we come together, like a big source of our team building is prayer, and I'm so grateful for that. I also the journey that I get to go on with parents and their faith in me and trust in me is something that's really important to me. And so I have to then, rely on God and rely on my daily faith going.
That's awesome. What do you see as like to you, as I was saying, feels like there's so many different needs that exist. Is there something
Yeah.
you see that is kind of an area of great need in the disability space right now?
I think the correlation between, I think mental health is a huge thing that we're seeing everywhere, but I think that our population can be underserved in terms of mental health at times. So just finding, I don't know if that answers your question, but I think mental health
Yeah.
and collaborating with mental health professionals and, advocates within the disability community is super important. And so that's something that, I mean, on a regular basis, I do find myself like falling back on school counselors and, um, you know, health professionals and mental health professionals and helping guide decision making for my students. And I think that's a huge piece that we can pray for
Mm-hmm.
an increase in.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you see as a misconception or one of the biggest misconceptions about the disability community?
I think, um, I work with middle schoolers often. I have a group of inclusion advocates who are eighth graders. They're called Shamrock Crew Mentors. And I like to do no dumb questions where we like sit down and just say like, okay, we're closing the doors. We're going to ask all the questions that you have about disabilities so
Mhm.
that so that you can feel you're not going to hurt anyone's feelings in this space. I know you guys, I know you all come up from a place of love. Let's talk through some of the questions that you have. A lot of it is about, I mean, a lot of the things that I anticipate them to ask, they already know because they're in an inclusive environment. And so they've just in their daily lives, they've seen like, I always think like, okay, they're going to ask about communication and like, how do I communicate with, with an individual with, a significant speech delay. And that is not their questions at all because they like already see that on a regular
Mm.
basis and they know how to do that, which I'm really proud of. You can't say that for every community, but I do think they ask a lot about like how do individuals with disabilities or how do people or their classmates, how do they feel? And I mean, that's one of the questions I can't answer. You have to ask them. Like you have to,
Mhm.
everyone is so different and we can't generalize. And so that's such a learning tool that I feel. And then I mentioned this earlier. I think that a lot of people look at the disability community and everyone involved, parents and advocates and individuals and siblings, and as almost like as with a look of like pity or um, sadness. And I think that I mean, if you're in this world and you live as a part of the community every day, um, there are moments of that, but that's for everyone. So
Mhm.
I think normalizing the joy and the reality of um, I think that's something super important that we have to do on a regular basis, that we get to do on a regular basis. But
Yeah, that's awesome. That's yeah, that's really. Are there like because I guess I think about that like the wondering what people are thinking. Are
mhm,
there people on your Shamrock crew? Are any of the people?
mhm.
Are there self advocates in that group,
Yeah,
or is it
yeah,
what is that dynamic? I'm
yeah.
just curious.
So we have many. I'm going to refer to these people as students because I do have students who are a part of the inclusive ed program that are also on that serve as Shamrock Crew mentors. But yeah, through the years, I've really learned like, okay, when we do those no dumb questions sessions, like I need to bring in other people um, so that they can so that they're not hearing everything from me. It's just I'm a springboard to start the conversation, and then it's just more back and forth talk, and then like push a little bit here and push a little bit there to lead the conversation. But yeah, and then we also have um, students who are a part of our inclusive education program and receive many services from the program as in our Shamrock crew as mentors as well.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Um, what do you wish other educators knew about inclusion? So this might be people who aren't, so familiar with working. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that I think the biggest thing is that the benefits are in so many directions. And I think that harkens back to the conversation we talked about, those with disabilities aren't just recipients of the gospel, like they're the agents. They are the agents of what God teaches every day. We don't do this work because it's nice or it looks good or it's pretty, but because it's literally what God called us to do. And it just makes sense that way. But I think a lot of, if I was going to, angle this to an educator, the benefits of inclusive education are not single focused on one person. It's the whole community. And I think we get to experience that because our children are in inclusive environments. And it's sometimes really hard for educators if you've never seen it before, but just that first yes can really open your world up in so many ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I did not know a person with Down syndrome until my own son was born.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think what a loss, that I had gone that many years of my life and all of my education. And I did not go to a school that had an inclusive education program at all. So, and I just realized now, seeing my own kids, just like how lucky they are, just how it's able to shape their worldview in such a different way. And it's just what they've always known. And just the difference of that is awesome. If someone was interested in starting an inclusion program at their school, where would you tell them to start? Like if there's one thing they could do, or because I know lots of the, things is often we don't have the resources, or we don't have a budget. Where would you say to maybe invest, or what's the best thing, kind of a first step to take the first step?
Well, I really think you need someone on your staff that has a special education degree. I think that is the place to start.
Okay.
If that's not accessible to you, partnering with local organizations is going to be the next best thing that you can do. So like, we have a lot of really great partnerships at St. Elizabeth's, like with Rockhurst University. We partner with them for support with our speech language services. But even like Down syndrome innovations, they have great tools and resources for educators as well to like even just get started. There are many times where I have friends in those organizations that I just pick up the phone. I'm like, hey, can I talk something out with you? Or, hey, can I talk this through? So finding your community, even outside of your school community, like finding other special educators in Catholic schools who are doing it is so important. But then the biggest thing is like saying yes. The first yes is scary and hard, but then just saying yes and opening the door, that fear, a lot of that fear starts to drift away as you see the positive relationships and the gifts and beauty that come to your school community when you just start with that first yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's even goes back to some of our a rosary meditations. Like Mary said yes to this really hard, scary, challenging thing, and if she wouldn't have, that yes.
Totally. I was thinking of that as we read that today. So,
okay. Last question. What do you like best about your job?
Oh goodness. That's a hard one. There's a lot. I mean, I have so many, beautiful, I mean, I'm not going to be able to give you a best or one thing. I'm sorry. But,
that's okay.
One of the big things is, the partnerships that I have with families, especially as students, grow and develop and change through their years. When I love talking about balancing, you know, our children's independence as well as our support of them. I think that's one of my favorite things to do, because I think parents are sometimes shocked by me and some of the ways that I like push the envelope with, you know, encouraging growth and independence for kids. And I like an example is I was like packing their own lunches, and, you know, some of the things that maybe we don't always assume. That's one of my favorite things, because I love setting kids up for what I know is coming in high school. Because right now I teach at the, you know, at the elementary level, and just knowing what's coming next. I think that anticipation and excitement that comes with their growth and development in terms of who they're becoming. I love that. I absolutely love my team. I could not do it without the amazing team that we have at our school. I find myself many times just straight laughing with them and sharing in community with them, and knowing that they're very like-minded with me and on the same mission on a regular basis means a lot to me. So that's pretty amazing. And then obviously just watching kids thrive. You know, we have a lot of students in our school building, many of our students that are a part of our inclusive ed program that have the most support or have diagnoses that are heavier and carry a lot more medical, medical concerns. A lot of their parents were told, this won't happen, this can't happen, this child won't walk independently, won't navigate the school building on their own, won't talk, all those won'ts and can'ts. Like, I love watching those happen on a regular basis, and just seeing the progress and growth that we have just by that inclusive, yes, we can do this and we'll figure it out as we go. I think that's definitely my favorite thing, watching kids thrive.
Well, we are lucky that you are in this profession and all that you're doing. And I'm so grateful for you. And thank you for taking time to chat. And just you're wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to see how much this grows, and really, I just, encourage people to share this message. And especially, I don't know about you, but after praying that rosary, I just feel a lot like more calm. Like, I feel that calm with me. So thank you for including me in this.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All
Bye,
right,
Audrey.
bye.